9 o'clock, I'll call the meeting to order. Approval of the agenda as presented.
I'll do that.
Thanks, Robin. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. And we have a couple of additions to the agenda. Ag service disaster discussion for under Ag Service Department, so we'll put that as C. And then our closed session, we have a number 3, which will be land and legal discussion.
What was the first one?
Ag service disaster.
What was the third one, or second one, Mike?
Second one was land legal discussion. That'll be in closed session number 3.
Maybe some of us don't want that.
Okay, I'll ask some for a motion for.
Yeah.
Thanks, Richard. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. Adoption of the previous council minutes. Council meeting August 19th, 2025.
Yeah.
Thanks, Bill.
There was an error.
Bruce, you're speaking on today.
I think it was fixed, Bob. Beforehand, yeah. Okay, all those in favor? Opposed? Carried. And special council meeting September 9th.
Yep.
Thanks, Oscar. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. We had a couple delegations today. 9:30 Battle River Watershed is coming for a presentation, and at 10 a.m. Scott Walker is coming on behalf of Kids Sport for the check presentation. And moving on to new business, Ag Service Department. Morning.
Morning.
Okay, we got Shelby's report there. Any questions or comments or anything you'd like to add, Shelby?
No, we've been quite busy with regular operations and then also shifting back into the planning mode for the next season upcoming. A lot of the surveys have wrapped up. Grasshopper survey, wheathead survey, Swede Mitch, all the pheromone monitoring has been completed. The only inspections left to do will be the club root inspections, and we'll be using that canola rotation risk mapping program this year, so we'll see kind of what the results of that are. There was 27 submissions for the municipal bursaries. They've all been processed, and the evaluation process will be going through early next month, and then they'll come to next council. Calendars in development and everything is on track for that. Getting kind of shifting into meeting season. We have ASB meeting coming up, regional AAAF meetings and whatnot, and working with our committees with that. Beaver and dog control is also continuing to come on an as-need basis. Spraying, weather's still holding, so spot spraying and private land projects are still on the go. We do have one truck down for the season, but we were able to get the other one up and going with, not much delay at all. So both of them are still out full-time on the spray program.
Good. Any questions?
How's the chemical, Wainwright Chemical Container site going?
That'll come later in the meeting today.
Oh, okay.
That's, we have the RFP out for that, and we did get 11 submissions.
I was on finance this month, and there was a considerable cost sending a dog to Lloyd. Is that going to be our normal practice now? A rescue or whatever?
That
Is there?
was to Cold Lake.
Oh, Cold Lake came
for
from
a
Lloyd,
surrender.
sorry.
So for the most part, if we're unable to place them and we do find them a placement, there is typically a fee associated with surrendering them elsewhere,
Okay.
and that's been standard.
Okay. We just haven't had one in my whole.
We did
Seems like
have,
ages.
There was one to Saving Grace earlier this year. They had surrender fee as well, so we had 2 dogs at that point.
Okay.
I did go down there, so
Okay.
most places do have a surrender fee.
Yeah. Okay. It was considerable. Cool.
So Shelby, you set up traps for wheat mitch, did you? Or you did not?
We did not have wheat traps. We did do soil sampling for those, and they were sent to Brooks last week.
And so you don't have no results back?
Not for
I
those
just wondered
yet.
why you didn't set traps up.
That one we don't always do. Often that's something because it's a daily check. If there's a landowner that wants to do it, then we can provide everything for them through the province, and then they kind of report back to us. But we didn't have anyone this year that had signed up, so we didn't run that one, but we can certainly run it next year.
Okay, so what did you find out about the count then from last year? So that should affect this year's crop.
We can look back in the report. They do send us, it takes some time for them to process all of those. So the ones that we did were soil samples. So last year, the soil sample results came back. I believe they found none in any except for one sample, and I think it had 2, if I remember correctly. So those usually come to us in the new year after they've processed those soil samples. So by all accounts from the soil samples last year, the numbers were expected to be quite low based on that.
I think, in my mind, then we should do both in order to find out how accurate those soil samples are.
Yeah, that's a very good point.
Because I know that I put them in there and they're extremely high, and we have to spray on them. So that's what I'm wondering if that's
Yeah, I think
something
we
that we
did
thought
see there
about
was one
doing or
also.
not.
Yeah, there was a trap set, we're not sure whose it was. There was
Oh,
one set out.
but you don't
So
know.
it could have been through, like Nutrien does some of the, they'll do Bertha's as well, for example. So it could be a group like that. So I do believe there's still data on the live monitoring.
Okay.
But we can definitely have that for next year.
Okay, any other questions or comments? If not, somebody want to make a motion to accept the Ag Service report? Thanks, Bruce. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. And we have an RFD coming out of that for the Northeast Regional Conference.
So previously, additional counselors have liked to attend the Regional Ag Service Board Conference. So this is a motion to authorize additional counselors to attend that event. So this year, it is being hosted by Minburn County on Monday, November the 3rd in Vegreville. So the registration deadline is October 9th, and so this would be to just authorize if anyone additional would like to attend outside of the board.
Okay. Somebody want to make a motion to accept that? Bob, thank you. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried.
Yeah.
And we have Ag Service Disaster. So this was put on the agenda late yesterday afternoon. Anybody want to speak to that, or I think the discussion is around declaring an Ag Service disaster for the area?
Yeah, I'll speak to it. Our pastures are gone, have been all summer, so everybody's been moving around. The hay crops are way down in our areas. I'm wondering if there's anything to do. And then I had a question on if the government would prolong the tax for 3 years on cattle sales, which happened back 25 years ago.
That's 3 years, you said?
Pardon?
3 years?
Yeah.
Usually one.
So that would be the livestock tax deferral program. So there is a map out of what areas do fall into that or not. So I can forward that to all of you if you would like. So ag disaster, I'm not extremely familiar with declaration, but I did have a look at the RMA guide that is specific to kind of declaring ag disasters. So something to note in there, and this is just a quote directly from it, just in relation to ag disasters with the livestock tax deferral. So in the guide, it says a common misperception is that the municipal declaration of an agricultural disaster will influence the provincial declaration or access to funding supports. This is simply not the case. Municipal declarations bring awareness to an issue in a specific area of the province, but they do not trigger a provincial declaration or access to any funding to support the issue. Municipalities can work with their local agricultural industries or industry producer organizations to communicate concerns and assess challenges being experienced. Is in that RMA guide.
That may be correct, and that's how the provincial government is operating, but what about, we're wondering if you can defer tax? And that, there was nothing in there on that tax, and that's what I think we need to find out.
The livestock tax
I mean, cattle are at an
deferral.
all-time high,
Mhm.
so this year, if you're selling your cattle because you got no pasture, no hay, we're gonna be paying tax on that. Does the benefit of us declaring an emergency, agricultural emergency, disaster, or whatever, does that influence that tax? That's, I think, a question we need to answer.
I'd say just based on what it said in that guide that I just read out there, I don't think it has
I didn't see
influence
anything in
on
that
that
guide.
program.
Oh, did you read the guide? Is there more guide there that I?
There's a whole guide, yeah, I can forward that to you. And that program is from AAFC, so it's a federal program.
I think the question is if we declare it, the province still has to accept that, and then they would release the terms of it? Is that correct, or, like, I don't, what I guess I'm getting at is I don't know if we declare it, if that actually triggers anything.
No.
It's a province that has the ultimate say.
Well, the only thing that it does is make awareness. It doesn't, if you declare a disaster, then the province may look at this area, whether it's in the tax deferral. But if you don't declare a disaster, the province still may look at it if it's a tax deferral. That's a provincial thing, but, I mean, declaring it is just an awareness to at least the province say, okay, maybe should look at that. Like, but there's no, and at least in the past, there's been no weight put on what we do
No.
to get the tax deferral. But
But we
the
should
awareness
have,
is, I don't think the awareness
we
is a
should have
bad
a
thing.
motion to make them aware of it, whether or
Yeah,
not
like, you
doesn't-
do that for a declaration, yeah. I mean, that's all it would do.
Are we in that map at a critical state for moisture? No?
This is, this one that I have here is not relating to moisture. This is the jurisdictions that are designated as falling under the 2025 livestock tax deferral assessment.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
in our region, no one around us is within that at the moment.
Okay, so I'm on the tax deferral website here, Bill and Council. So this might answer your question. It just says, what are the criteria based to prescribe drought and excess moisture or flood regions? Regions are prescribed on the advice of the Minister of Agriculture or Agri-Food and Agri-Food to the Minister of Finance. So that's where it comes from. It comes from the Minister of Agriculture.
The federal minister,
Yeah.
yeah.
And
So
yeah,
really, there's no benefit to us declaring anything, really, is there? We can declare it all we want, it ain't gonna change things, that's what you're saying.
Do you think it's too late though, Bill?
It's just an
Like,
awareness.
if you're gonna make the awareness, would it be better to do that earlier in the year, or not, does it matter?
Well, we didn't really, didn't really know. I mean, as far as the crops are concerned, I think the crops are fine.
Yeah.
yeah.
It's just the pastures, and you can, as far as I'm concerned, in our area or wherever, is the grasshoppers
Oh,
ate it.
okay.
I mean, so what do you do? There's no grass because the grasshoppers have eaten it off and lack of rain. So I mean, you don't know if it's gonna rain or not, and
Yeah.
so, I mean, it's a tough one for us to call, that's all I'm saying. I mean, it's the grass, the only thing is the cattle industry, has hurt the cattle industry. I think the crops are fine.
Yeah.
There's enough grain and enough straw around the country to get through the winter.
You're right.
And it might be worse next year, so I don't know if it's
Very
worth,
well could be.
worth putting it in this year. And we might need it more next year than this year.
Well, we probably won't get nothing out of it this year, so it's not a thing of not sending it in. I think it's just, like we said earlier, Bob said, and it's an awareness coming from our county, and I do believe we should do a follow-up, because if it is worse next year, then we're already a year behind, so there should be a motion to make them aware of it.
Okay, so do you want, just so I'm clear, you want the motion that we will communicate with the federal ag minister
Yeah,
and have a discussion with him on whether we can get that tax incentive
Yeah, we
kicked in.
should try and meet with them at the RMA meeting too, eh?
But this is a federal program.
We're not gonna meet
I
with the
believe-
federal minister.
No,
But we can, Oscar, we can try to get a meeting with the provincial ag service minister.
yeah,
and-
you gotta have their
or ag-
support also.
Yeah, with the ag minister.
Thanks, Mike.
Do we need a motion on that, or is that just direction?
So is that, what's, I need the motion read back to me.
I'll make that motion, Mike.
Okay.
That what?
Are we actually declaring an emergency? Is that what you want? Is that your motion?
It sounds like the room doesn't really want to declare an emergency, but they want to proceed with lobbying the minister to see if we can get that incentive initiated for our cattle producers. Is that correct? I'm
Yeah.
just kind of trying to read the room here.
So no declaring agricultural disaster? That's-
Well, we can go around the room and ask Bill what
I
the
didn't know if
preference
that's
is.
your motion or not. I just need
Well, I
it read
think-
back.
Right now it's not, but we can go around the room and
I
clarify.
think it is an emergency to, not only an awareness, it's an emergency to get it started. Because if you don't, next year will be the same thing. So you can put emergency on it, as far, on my motion anyway. I think it is an emergency because we've got guys that are gonna be selling cattle with no feed.
There is feed out
Lots of
there in
feed.
certain places though. It's just gonna cost, price of cattle are up and you gotta pay.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't think it's an emergency. But we could make them aware of it and just say, we might be back next year if things don't change.
Don't improve. Bruce,
Yeah.
what's your thoughts?
Yeah, I like the history part, so next year if there is another problem, we have something to fall back on. This is 2-year drought for us.
So do you want to declare emergency this year, or do you want to just pursue it and,
I would pursue it.
okay,
Pursue it.
Bob?
Yeah, I'm good either way. Declaration doesn't hurt anything. All of it is awareness. The declaration is a more formal way to proceed. Like you can, I'm okay with the declaration too. But if you're gonna meet with the ag minister, I think if you had a declaration in your hand, it might give you a little more, it's just a formal way of addressing the situation other than a meeting with a minister, that's all. So I mean, I'm good either way. I think the declaration would be more formal, that's all. And I'm not opposed to that.
Okay. Bill?
Yeah.
Same? Robin?
I don't like the word emergency, but pursuing it's fine. I just don't think a state of emergency is warranted.
Even, I realize where all you're coming from, but when you declare emergency, doesn't mean they're gonna take action on it. It's just part of the awareness program. To go with strictly on awareness, you'll be back next year trying to make an emergency. If it's already on the books as an emergency, and we do have this next year with the grasshoppers and the drought,
Do you know what?
you'll be one step ahead of it. That's all I'm saying. I can go either way, but I'd just soon declare an emergency.
But it just will give you a more formal discussion with your ag minister.
Okay, so Oscar has a motion on the floor to declare an ag emergency. And then we'll ask for a meeting with the ag minister. Any other comments or questions before I call the motion? If not, I'll call the motion. All those in favor? Opposed? That is defeated.
Then put a different motion on the table.
Well, I think we have direction, Oscar, for our administration. If you want a motion for administration to work with the ag department,
Yeah, I do.
okay. So Oscar makes a motion that we'll direct our administration to work with the ag service or ag ministry in regards to the drought year that we've had. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. Okay, thanks, ladies.
Thank you.
Go sit down.
Yeah, let me know if you see her coming, please.
Morning, you two.
Morning, guys.
Morning, council. Morning, Bill.
Morning.
Okay, we have the Director of Public Works report in front of you. Any questions or comments or anything you'd like to add, Preston?
Can I add? Well, paving's going hard on 610, 899, 894, 897. They're all aspects are happening, milling, paving, culvert work, so on and so forth. So a lot of disruption in the area. Construction is working on the Mills Road right now. I believe they have that matting completed, or they'll have that completed today. So that was kind of the slower part of the job, because we had to keep the road open while we did the matting, right? We couldn't close it off. So that took a little bit extra time. We had to add more material to allow for a driving lane on either side, right? So that's kind of wrapped up there.
What's the process there? Sorry.
For the matting?
Yeah, like, I
So-
still don't understand where you're putting it in and.
Okay, so what we did right off 894 is we excavated or subcut and then removed that material, and then we put in the fiber matting, and then you put the material back on. And what that does is it provides a substructure that supports your road surface. So,
So you have the same material you dug out going back in?
no, not necessarily.
Oh, that's what
Any of the blackened material or non compacting type material are removed. So, yeah, and then we use our borrow
Yeah, it's
material to
alkaline,
put back
isn't
in.
it? A lot of alkaline in that.
Yeah, there was a little bit of, there was some black material in there. I can't say for sure of alkaline or not, but we did actually subcut it out, pulled a ton of that material out. Then we used it in, like on the side slopes,
Oh, yeah.
and then we brought in the borrow material.
How far
So,
are you hauling borrow?
The borrow there, it's less than a mile.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, sorry,
Yeah.
go ahead.
yeah. So, but we had to keep the road open due to the industry on that, on the north side of the road there. So that took a little bit longer.
We used that material on the Ripstone Road. And they said it was equivalent because of the way it's structured to 3 feet of clay on.
Yeah, something to that effect, yeah. So. yeah. The sand and salt is mixed in the yard as per the report. Yeah, it's been a busy month, actually. It's been going, so.
You asked them for days off?
No,
No.
not yet. No. Oh, I did get an email from Rohi. Sandstar has pushed our project back by 1 week. Start date 29th instead of the 20, or start date 28th instead of the 21st. Yeah,
And they're starting on South Edgerton Road, Cadwin Road?
that has not been determined. That was
Okay.
not exposed. So I would assume if we wanted to project this out, they would probably start the milling and maybe look at doing the paving on the other projects and then come back after, because the milling would then be ahead of schedule sort of thing, but I don't know for sure.
Yep.
Yeah, but that could happen. They could mill and pave right behind it too. I mean, I've seen that before as well, so. yeah.
How long do you figure they'll take to do it all?
I don't recall. Do you recall in the meeting?
No.
No, I don't recall what they said.
The entire,
They,
The entire project was gonna be 3 weeks.
3
I
weeks,
believe.
yeah.
3 weeks?
3 weeks,
Yeah.
because it's getting late in the year.
It is getting late in the year, yeah. So that is most certainly a concern that Rohi has expressed back to us, but I mean, they'll be watching that for sure. temperatures are the issue, right? Freezing, so on and so forth. But we could have a very nice fall and things can go very well, so we'll see how she goes. Sandstar is they do have a lot of equipment, so they could be, you know, bringing everything in and maybe starting each project all at the same time. It's hard to say.
The lagoon inspection went, checked off the boxes, all done? I'm
Yeah,
sorry I
so
missed
the
it.
final acceptance certificate was to visit site, do the walk around, and if there are any deficiencies, is to discuss those deficiencies and come to a solution. Currently, there are no deficiencies that are, at least that we know about.
Perfect,
right?
thank you. Are we getting another chip seal on our roads?
Yes. So what happened there was the contractor we hired had an issue with the supply. So they were delayed in supply, and now they're just circling back, coming back this way. So I was under the understanding that it was this week to start of next week when they were coming back to put the second layer on.
Okay. Thank you.
Are we going to do more patching before they arrive for the second coat?
You have certain spots there that you've seen?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can look at that, deal with it.
Me too.
You do?
Mhm.
I drove your road yesterday, but yes, we can go look.
Holes in the middle, kind of. I was worried about water, that's why I asked about the chips.
Well, that's what the second layer will do, is cover that in.
Okay.
These are fairly deep where
Yeah.
should be patched, I think.
Okay. Any other questions or comments?
You're crushing at the Tondu pit. I know we got a lot of gravel, but is there anything, any way we can check our crushing specs out? I know we got gravel for 20 years already, but there seems to be, they're not eliminating a lot of clay and sand, I find, in the gravel we have.
Gravel's terrible.
Hmm?
The gravel is terrible.
So the spec, I believe, is set up maybe in policy, I'm not 100% sure, but we always use the 420 transportation spec. So as far as changing that to a different specification, we once crushed with a 420 modified, which then took out more of the fines. We could address that, and we could review some of this, let's say like a planning with some options, and go from there. But the truth of it is we do have a lot of product that's sitting on the ground that's already been crushed to that 420 transportation spec. So that we could look at the modified spec. As far as understanding what else is out there, I would have to lean on some industry experts to kind of give me some advice, because it is definitely something that I don't know a lot about. I mean, I understand the process, but yes, we could look at adjusting our crushing spec. If we're going to do that, we would potentially like to do that before the new year, because that's when our contract goes out for crushing again in the new year. But yeah, we can most certainly look at that if council chooses.
What's the 420 spec, Preston? Do you have any idea what? And then one other question I had with that 420 spec, I mean, who's looking at it to make sure that it's a 420 spec?
So we hire Clifton Associates as our third-party company to come in and do the sample, and then test it and send us the results. Then we take those results, and depending on the curve, because it looks like a banana,
Yeah.
right? So it starts thin at the top and it comes bigger at the bottom, like this. And you watch that line that goes through it, and as they count the fractures, and they count the size of the fractures, and they weigh it, and then they figure out the moisture, and it all graphs on that with a line. And you want that line to be right in the middle of that so-called banana, right? So if it starts dropping to the bottom of it, then potentially you're looking at higher fines, right, with less aggregate and fracture. And then what you do is you use that curve, show it to your crusher, and then what they do is they change their screens. So they'll pull a finer
How
screen out.
often do they do that? I mean,
I'll do, on a crush, I'll do 4 to 5 samples depending on how they look, right? So if we start out, the first one's looking within spec, then I'll potentially wait 3 or 4 or 5 days, do another one, sit in spec, we're good, wait for another 5 days, do another one. If we come up with the first one and we're not in spec, then I'll give them like a day and then I'll do another one, because we want to pull them in as quick as possible, right? So, and that's how that works.
Results come back quickly.
They could, usually they come back within a day. Like if they do the sample in the morning, I potentially get it, you know, at 4 o'clock or something, or early the next morning. It's a process though. I mean, it takes probably 3 hours to do a proper sieve test. Because they take that sample, right? They take a representation of it, and then they have to count. They run it through sieves, and then they count all the rocks with the fractures to ensure that you have so many product went through and so many fractures on it, so they physically count them. And then they weigh that, and then they weigh the next one, and they weigh the next one, and then they take the sand, they weigh it, and then they put it in an oven, they bake it, and then all the moisture comes out of it, and then they weigh that, and then there's your moisture difference, and then throw it on there. So it does take time. Yeah.
What's the cost to do that, Preston?
It's about $1,000 to $1,500, depending on travel, I think. Yeah.
Just for one crush?
Yeah. One sample.
One sample?
Yeah.
So when we pay for the crush, are we paying for the actual crush or the elimination product as well?
Pay for both.
We pay for both?
Yeah,
So that doesn't really matter as far as the amount we pay then?
For sure.
It's up to us to pick a gravel pit that's
Yeah.
good and got less elimination in it.
You crush in a pit where you're eliminating 60, 70% elimination. As that elimination goes over the belt, then you pay so much per ton of that elimination. So it adds to the crush. So,
Okay.
yeah, that's how it works. And then your standard crush rate at whatever that is, and you pay per ton on that, plus whatever tons of elimination goes out, you pay for that. So that's how that works.
So what's wrong with the gravel? Is it too sandy?
Some has too much sand, some has too much clay. Clay, a lot of clay in my area.
Well, clay's tough for them to deal with. I mean, sand they can eliminate. Clay is tougher because if there's much clay, they've got to pull the clay out, then add it back in. And it's
Yeah.
another part of their operation.
As they crush in a clay pit, the moisture content of the pit run
Yeah.
plays into
Yeah.
how it comes out, because it balls up, plugs the screens,
Yeah.
pushes through. It is a beast to deal with.
I know in some pits where they're heavy clay, they pull the clay out right off the top. They put, as soon as it comes out of onto their screen deck, they pull the clay out because they can't. It plugs everything up and it plugs their, then they add it back in at the end. But clays are worse than sand. So.
Correct. Yeah, it's a beast.
Okay, that'll be, if you want to bring some options to the next RFD for our crushing contract.
Just a question for Preston. Does a modified spec help with the clay or not? The modified spec is more sand, right?
No, I think the modified spec pulled out more of the fines on the bottom end.
Okay.
So I think we picked that modified spec, and tell me if I'm wrong, but I believe we picked it because of, we were having a problem with clay and we wanted to
Okay.
try and eliminate some more of that bottom
So
end out.
we pulled that off right off the bat. And that
Yeah.
went into the elimination pile, right?
Yes,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
So if you use that modified spec in a sand pit, you should take out the finer sands out of that,
Yeah.
or more of it.
Yeah.
Okay, any other questions or comments on the report? If not, I'll get a motion to accept the Public Works. Thanks, Richard. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. And Director of Safety report.
Good morning.
Good morning,
Right,
Ray.
right. Where are we at here? Just gonna back it up. Okay, so we had a staff safety meeting here, just passed, August 28th. Discussed about school obviously starting back up again and the traffic that on the roads that it'll bring. We had another, during our safety management meeting on September 5th, we reviewed some updates to procedures and policies for our organization's safety manual. Of course, I'll bring these all up to you guys for review and approval during our policy meeting. I attended the pre-construction meeting there on August 22nd, chaired by Rohi. We're discussing procedures on the Cadogan Road project, and we had some topics including safety and points of contact. And I continue to correspond with other safety leaders throughout the province, discussing upcoming conferences and sharing procedures. For Parks and Rec, we did have a distribution pump go down at the Arm Lake Clubhouse there on the last long weekend. We had an outfit come in on Saturday, provide us with a pump to get them going. This is being monitored. Campsites are back on with water going through them. Been spending some time working on planning items and costs to replace some existing infrastructure we have. This will all be brought up to you guys at the budget planning meeting. If there are any projects that you guys wish to see in the Parks and Rec department, please reach out to me. I can add them to my list and start getting some prices to present to you all. Our summer students have all returned back to their studies, so Preston's department and other departments have stepped up to assist with some of the tasks that would normally be taken care of by these summer students. And yeah, the parks and campsites, we're starting to see them slowing down now that all the kids are back to school and the season's slowly coming to an end. And then just a quick note, the annual Kids Sport Golf Charity Tournament that's held at Riverdale was informed raised over $30,000. So that was a pretty good turnout and well received.
Ray, when that pump goes down, I want to ask, is that water out there, is it potable water?
It goes through a chlorination system.
System?
Yeah.
So then, when that pump went down, what do we do? Do we do testing like we do in the villages? I mean, you got a system that went down and you introduced bacteria into it. So did we take any precautions in going forward there?
Well, I believe the weekly tests are still conducted. So this has been down last long weekend. We've done tests since then, and there has been no reports or issues of any bacterial or anything to be
But when you
raising concern.
introduce a new pump into the system, I mean, the first thing we should do is testing it, is it not?
So
maybe I'll let the water
unregulated
guy
system,
answer
it's not a
that.
requirement, but when you chlorinate, you do a chlorine solution, a pail, and you wipe the pump down with the chlorine solution and you drop it in. So you do disinfect the pump before you put it into
Okay.
the
Okay.
tank.
So what I'm saying is, it's not a requirement by Health Canada to do
No, it's
that
not,
prior to the
it's
installation.
not regulated by the province.
Okay.
So,
Okay, good enough.
yeah.
When you start the sewer project, if we
So we were supposed to meet Monday. Unfortunately, the subcontractor had an emergency call to attend to, so we've set up a meeting for tomorrow morning at 8:30 to discuss. We're going to begin this right on beginning first week of October. We want to allow all the campers to yeah, it'll be a lot less commotion and cause for incident that way. So.
Good.
Did we get the fence at Arm Lake done yet?
So I did speak with Mike on there. I did receive an email back from the contractor. Unfortunately, they had pushed us back to the first couple of weeks of October. However, I mean, that court is still being used, and it's there's a lot of good praise on that court. So as soon as the net gets on, we'll call it complete. But in the meantime, it is still being actively used by campers out there.
Any other questions or comments?
I just appreciate, you did a lot of beck and call stuff for me this last month, so I appreciate it.
No, not a problem.
Okay, somebody want to make a motion to accept the safety report as presented? Bill Lawson? Thank you, Bill. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. And we have an RFD coming out of that for bridge files.
So on September 9th, we sat down and opened up submissions for 70949 and 70948 with Rohai present. We had 4 submissions presented. Are they in here? With Rohai going through the submissions, they came up with a recommendation based on references and all the documentation provided. And council can look at the information and make a decision if they'd like to proceed.
Okay, we've talked about this in the past, about getting this done.
Projected cost, how did
I'll make the motion to go with number 1.
Our projected was higher than this, wasn't it?
Well, yes, because we had a estimation put forward by Rohai, and it was higher than the submitted price. But we do not have a budgeted price for this project. Okay, we haven't budgeted for it.
No, this will be coming out of reserves, bridge file reserves. Okay, we have a motion to accept number 1, which would be Plains Construction Canada. The price quoted there in front of you. All those in favor?
So the
Oh.
motion was to go with number 1?
Oh,
Yeah. it's in
Sorry,
the-
there's more on that, right?
Yeah.
Right.
you bet, Bill.
There's more down at the bottom, the totaling.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, sorry. My apology.
Okay,
we'll forgive you this time.
all those in favor? Opposed? Carried. Okay, thanks, gentlemen.
We got a park and rec one.
Oh, do we have a park and rec one here?
RFD, yeah.
So this is our annual
Oh, sorry,
Running
yep.
Riverdale event that usually takes place at Riverdale.
So-
And it's a bunch of, 3 main schools come to Riverdale. We normally close out the back 9, allow them to participate in their running activities. This year, they're also requiring or requesting the use of 3 golf carts to help with the event. Yeah, in the past, council has approved this with no hesitation. It's on the table again for that.
We approved it with or without the carts last time.
I believe we had the carts on last year as well, yeah.
I'll make a motion, we go with option 1.
Okay, thanks, Robin. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. And one more RFD for municipal electricity generation program.
So council has the option to consider green energy with solar power at Riverdale and Arm Lake, or one or the other. So there's a program through municipal energy generation that provides funding through a way of a rebate, and you can see a list of rebates on that table in the RFD. So if you have that range of kilowatts, you get a certain rebate for the energy number of watts you use. So we were thinking, starting off, that this would, since the program's there, starting off at Riverdale or Arm Lake as a test to see how it works out. So there's an option to possibly contact a contractor who specializes in these installation of these systems to get a price, and that would help you with the application process if you actually had a price, maybe save a step. Or you can go directly to the expression of interest, which is part of the process of the program. But probably one of the first questions they'll ask you in the expression of interest and then when they meet with you is roughly what's the project going to cost. So you might save a step by getting that cost first.
So it looks like about a 10-year return, taking 10 years to get your return, based on the other information you receive from other municipalities?
Yeah, roughly you're looking at, I crunched the numbers really quickly, you're looking at probably $100,000 cost. I don't know how it compares to Riverdale, but they're looking at the savings of, I think it was around $5,600 a year or something like that, so it might be, yeah.
Well, I
But
just looked at-
that doesn't include your rebate. No, depends what your rebate is based on the watts. So yeah, you're probably pretty close about that 10
Well, I
years.
just looked at the other ones, I mean, they're project, excuse me, project costs are $55,000, their savings is $5,400. And if you look through them, they're all about the same as that 10%. So take you 10 years to recover your costs. But that's just,
So?
I'm okay with it, but
Yeah.
good point.
I'll make a motion, we go with number 2. Contact the contractor first and see what
For price-wise?
for price.
rebate's only for one of the two, right?
Rebate is just basically the funding, the one-time funding, yes. based on usage, yeah.
But it is per project, right?
Per project,
If there's two
yeah.
projects,
Oh,
you get
okay,
two rebates.
okay,
Yeah.
yeah.
So is there a timeline on the submission if we take our time, or?
Well, there is, because the program ends at the end of March in 2026. So, I mean, if we go get a price, I don't know how long it's going to take to get a price. It could take a month. We could have it here by the October meeting, maybe November, and then it gives us, I guess it gives us an okay time to apply for the expression of interest and go through the funding.
Yeah, as long as we don't miss that
Yeah.
project date or whatever.
An option would be to contact a contractor, and if the price is reasonable, proceed with the expression of interest. There's no obligations
No
by
commitment.
applying for the expression of interest. So you can do, Bruce, you can do a combination of your motion by, say, contact a contractor and then apply for expression of interest.
So that would be option 1 instead of 2.
Kind of a combination of option
Kind of
1 and 2.
combination of 1 and 2. Okay.
You want to,
You're good with changing your motion to
Yeah.
do that, to
Yeah.
get a hold of a contractor with price, but also
And then put it
Express
for the
interest.
interest.
expression of interest for the
Expression of
program. Okay. All, question or?
Nope,
Okay,
I'm
all-
in favor.
All those in favor? Opposed? Carried.
Okay, thank you, council.
You had your hand up, Preston, were you opposed to
Didn't
that?
guys hear you?
Okay, thanks, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Hear ya?
We're a little behind.
The watershed, they're not,
Get to work now, boys.
15 minutes?
they're supposed to be at 9:30.
Of course, I think it's
Maybe they're out in the lobby.
What?
Oh, I'll get up.
Yeah, that might not be good either, yeah. You're exactly right.
Oscar.
Yeah.
I wanted to hear, you
That's
guys
what I
listen to me
wondered,
drivel.
like, what is-
So like 100% of the 3/4 goes straight.
We should have a damage deposit on those things. Are we off?
Oh. Okay. Yeah.
Every time you got
Yeah.
a break, you go fix one more.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, okay.
Oh, shoot.
What do you got on today, Richard?
Okay. Oh, is this
Whatever, I
on?
need to spend time with you anyway. Somewhat time.
Okay, we asked Catherine Pierce to come give us a presentation. And we have a printout here in front of us that we'll go through. So welcome, Catherine. Thanks for coming. Appreciate it. And the floor is yours. Yeah, is it green there or? Okay.
I appreciate this opportunity to be able to give you an update. We have had many exciting things happening this past year, and this is a wonderful opportunity to get to share that with you. I have a package here. It's more materials that you can share with ratepayers and residents as you see fit. So I'll leave that with you. And I don't know if you want to take that now. Just leave it right here. I thought I'd just start with, after the second slide. Just as a reminder, and all of you, I see very familiar faces around the table, so this will not be new. But the Battle River Watershed Alliance is a not-for-profit organization. We became a society in 2006, so we're starting to prepare for our 20th anniversary. And I'm going to bring up a little bit more about that at the end of the presentation. But shortly after becoming a society, we were designated as a Watershed Planning and Advisory Council under Water for Life, Alberta government's strategy for sustainability. Those Water for Life goals are safe, secure drinking water supply, healthy aquatic ecosystems, and a reliable quality water supply for a sustainable economy. Those goals haven't changed over time, and as our climate and weather continues to change, we can see that it becomes more and more important to focus on water and consider how our communities will be sustainable over time. So our opportunities to work together are more important than ever. As a WPAC, our mandate and roles are to report on the state of the watershed, to provide recommendations for watershed management planning, and then to work with partners within and across our community, so through convening and collaborating, to develop ways to implement those planning recommendations. And of course, education and literacy is a key piece going through our role, and that is to bring smart and sustainable solutions for water management. We'll go to the slide where I get to say thank you very much to the MD of Wainwright for your ongoing support of our organization. We really appreciate your Invest 50 contributions. They've helped us with many programs. They help us build greater capacity through acquiring additional grants. Having those core funds are really important to our programming. Last year, we ran a Riparian Care program where we had invested with our partners and landowners $165,000 in riparian projects to stabilize banks and shorelines along the Battle River. Things like off-site watering systems, exclusion fencings, and opportunities for that natural vegetation to support better water quality. We, of course, are running our education programs with support from your Invest 50 contributions. Last year, we reached 1,600 youth through all of our programming. And we were able to start the work to extend our Waste in Our Watershed program here in Wainwright. So we had a tour with support from your administration and the folks at the base. We toured the water treatment plant, and we have been working with administration to talk about the opportunity to take kids to see the landfill, the recycling center, and the goal with our Waste in the Watershed program is to look at both the waste and the water cycle and the way in which we can reduce pollution and reduce our waste in an effort to support water management. That's a program for grade 4 students, and it is something that we hope this fall to be able to bring towards Wainwright as well. Of course, I'd like to also thank all of those past board members and those opportunities that you've afforded us to support our governance. As an organization, we have become stronger with your support. So Doug Fletcher, Bruce Cummings, we've had Riley Anderson and Bill Lawson, and we very much appreciate that representation on our board. Our annual report helps to show much of the work that we have done in this past year. So if you wanted to look at some of those interesting programs, I encourage you to take a look. We did send that out with our thank you and appreciation for the Invest 50, but I can circulate that as well. I don't know if you can do that now.
Thank you.
Just pass that around. We are printing fewer copies, so I don't have a lot to provide, but we did provide an electronic copy when they came out a couple of months ago. If we just go, I'd like to just give a bit of go to our drought update. The Battle River watershed continues to be under a water shortage advisory. That advisory has been in place since 2023, so we're officially well into a multi-year drought. And all 5 of our sub-watersheds are still under this water shortage advisory. Technically, I mean, as many of you know, it is GOA's designation of stage 2 drought, which is moderate drought. And of course, when we are dealing with multi-year drought, flood is something that can be a significant consideration when we have very dry and arid land. Once the rains come, and hopefully they will, we could end up with some flooding issues as well. So something to keep in mind. Also, when we talk about drought, we look at the Battle River flows, and they have remained mostly below normal throughout the summer. The flows are monitored in Camrose, Forestburg, Brownfield, and at the Saskatchewan border. The growing season, April to August, precipitation accumulations were relative to long-term normal conditions are moderately low. That is once in 3 to 6 years, to very low once in 12 to 25 years. Across a large portion of the watershed, this has been an issue, with some parts of the MD of Wainwright experiencing extremely low to the driest conditions, as I'm sure you know. But just interestingly, those extremely low conditions occur once in 25 to 50 years. And the driest conditions occur less than once in 50 years. So we are experiencing very extreme conditions. I know that across our region, those conditions are really, they do really vary. And crop yields have varied as well. But for the most part, we are seeing yields that are less than, they're below average and are cause for concern. So soil moisture reserves are also moderately low to very low, and that's the once in 12 and 25 years across Wainwright. So I'm sure that these are kinds of considerations that are coming to the forefront, and I think all of the opportunities that we have in this prairie-fed watershed to support the retention of moisture through things like our wetlands and our riparian areas are very critical, and as our rains hopefully will come and return, having those things in mind and being able to retain those wetlands will be really important. I wanted to bring to light that going forward in November, we are offering 2 Watershed 101 webinars. They're designed for elected officials. So whether you're returning or you have some new folks on council, we encourage you to join us. They're just lunch and learn sessions, but we'll really talk a little bit further about ecological conditions in our watershed, ways in which we can support watershed management and the retention of water on the land. And it's just a great opportunity to reorient ourselves and connect with others who are in elected official roles across the watershed. So hopefully some of you will join us. It's the sessions are the same, November 4th and November 21st. We're just giving some opportunities to pick a date that might work for you.
Good.
I'm going to turn to citizen science. This year we're working on a way to expand our state of the watershed reporting and also engage folks with citizen science monitoring. So it's an opportunity for education and literacy at the same time. We're looking for river observers, so if you know anyone near the Battle River who likes to tell you about the conditions and interesting things, you should send them our way. You probably have someone in mind. But contact us, and we would love to sign them up with a program so that we can capture some of their stories and their oral observations and their photos, and we can continue to track what's happening, especially in this community. We also have a Lake Observers program with a similar thing. It's tracking observations, photos, stories, historical information. It's all relevant. We're also looking, we work with the Alberta Lake Management Society on invasive species monitoring. We know that zebra mussels and quagga mussels are, right at the border. We have them in Montana. They are in Manitoba and moving towards Saskatchewan. Once we have them in our waterways, we will never get rid of them, and it is millions of dollars of mitigation in our province. They clog up waterways. They can impact our water treatment plants. If we have them in Patty Lake, I would be very worried. And for recreation, they're miserable. They will outcompete our native species, our native fish population. And in terms of stepping into water with invasive mussels, it's not fun. My kids grew up in Ontario, and when you stepped into the Rideau Lakes, your feet would just be sliced. And so you don't want them in, we don't want them in Alberta. So I think whatever we can do to support greater information and awareness about moving our boats around, or bringing in fishing gear, the better. And this is one of our programs to help have residents monitoring the water bodies that are near them. And we also encourage bird monitoring using eBird hotspots. The eBird app is eBird Canada, and they have done an amazing job of accumulating data into a central database. And we see what's happened through that kind of information over time with, we've lost our many different bird species on the prairies, and this kind of information helps us understand what's happening in our environment. So we encourage local folks to find their eBird hotspots. I've left brochures for you, and hope you'll encourage and put them out in the main office and have folks join us. We have a fall BioBlitz to share more information about the Schultz Lake IBA. That's a little bit west and south of here, but still a great event to come out for birders. So I hope you'll share that information. For council, we've adjusted our board meeting minutes. We don't typically, we ask in our bylaws that our board meeting minutes are shared if on request. But we feel a need to provide a more frequent update for the council. And so we have an executive director report that's done quarterly. That report will be shared with council quarterly so that you can have a direct update. I don't know the process at which you want to accept that information, but I will give you an example of that coming out of our current meeting. Everyone can have a copy of that. So that would just come quarterly, and it will give you an update on what's happening through our organization. And then we also have a series of information sheets that we're doing for ratepayers. That's also in here. It distills the State of the Watershed report that we did in 2022, and we continue to update that data. So it puts it into simple information sheets. So, I mean, I don't know if you remember this report, but it is over 300 pages. So many people haven't read this report, but this is an opportunity to get some of that information in a little bit more accessible way. And I brought some for you to have for anybody who might come into the office. I brought you an example of the extreme weather and climate information sheet, and it has some great resources. Many people already know about them, but when we don't have central air quality reporting stations nearby, or if you're in community, you might rely on Purple Air. So there's a link to the Purple Air monitoring stations, which are often more accessible in our communities and give us better information. It includes things like the Rivers app, so you can determine the flows themselves. You could, there's soil moisture reports, the Ag and Food Canada maps, and then risks to water quality and quantity information for the general public. So I've left you that fact sheet. We're working on some other ones as well that we'll share with you as they come out. And one of the other things that we're doing is updating our water quality and quantity data. So when that State of the Watershed report came out, that data was older, And we're making those connections with GOA to get that information updated so that we can share that as well. And it will come to the council in the form of an information sheet as well. The last key resource I wanted to share with you today was our guide to watershed management and land use planning. This guide was developed in consultation with all of our communities. We're invited to early discussions about what this guide would do, as well as a guide afterwards. After we produced the guide, we had planners come and join us, and we discussed it, and we had really good feedback from our planners. Municipal Planning Services was the consultant and planners who helped us develop this guide. And essentially, it just looks at our watershed management recommendations and looks at ways that can align in municipal development plans and other land use policies. So the guide itself, if you just flip through, focuses on our four main watershed management objectives: water quality, quantity, biodiversity, and land management. And it translates those into planning components, so drought management, non-point source pollution management, habitat conservation. We found, and we did a survey of municipal development plans across the watershed, and biodiversity was one of those components that's the least recognized in a municipal development plan. And we're looking at ways in which that could be incorporated, and there's some really good tangible examples for planners and ways that can be added. When we look at things like supporting biodiversity, that can help with food production for crops, supporting pollinators by having those pollinator species, but also things like protecting healthy tree stands, and that can help water quality as well as our habitat for different species and our local species, our native species. I wanted to show you how this guide, so there's an implementation that shows how we go from watershed planning components and recommendations into specific language and guidelines that you would see in a municipal development plan. Everything from language around goals to definitions that might need to be included, objectives, actions and strategies and policies. So just as some goal statement examples were provided in the slides, different ones relating to land management, ones related to water quality and quantity and biodiversity. If we go to the biodiversity as an example, we look at protecting natural assets within the municipality, or providing ecological corridors within the municipalities. The slide titled Land Management Guidelines gives you an example of what that document includes. So you would see an example for riparian management, a goal of improving the function and intactness of a riparian area, and then objectives are outlined, different definitions you might need, like geotechnical reports, hazard lands, high water tables, different things like that, legal bank. And then it outlines actions and strategies and specific policies. One I like to highlight is establishing a minimum riparian intactness target of 75%. So that is something that you as a council could strive towards and put it in your municipal development plan.
It just comes out of the account.
I didn't check before I came. Is your municipal development plan, when was that done? Was it recently updated? Okay.
2 years ago? 2 years ago?
Right,
Yeah, two years ago?
right. So it's probably not time to update a municipal development plan, but there are always opportunities now that you have some of that core high-level language to be able to take these kinds of guides and put them into a bylaw or other policies, source water protection planning, and that sort of thing. So I hope that went directly to your planners, council, and CAO, your administrators. But we're always available for further consultations and conversations about that. And so I hope that you will turn to it over time as you're working on new projects, or you face any challenges, land use based challenges, interesting things, interesting pressures for development. I think that one of the most significant benefits of this guide is that really it's designed to provide examples in the way in which municipalities can reduce costs and risks associated with development in hazardous lands and that sort of thing. So it's hopefully it doesn't just sit on the shelf. Take a look at it when you have those development challenges in the community. And consider the environment and the overall sustainability of our watershed as you make those development decisions. But now I'll leave that. And I just come back to our 20th anniversary. So it is coming up within this next year. And so we have a planning committee. And one of the first things we decided to do was we wanted to put together a commemorative booklet with the bridges that within our watershed. And here in the MD of Wainwright, you have one of the most beautiful bridges in our whole watershed. And we would love for you as councillors to help us make contacts with those folks that might have great stories about that. About the Trestle Bridge or other bridges within the community. It can be a footbridge, can be a road, can be a train bridge, but we'd love to hear stories or have photos contributed from the community. To mark our 20th anniversary, we will have our AGM and a bus tour in June of 2026, and I hope that you will have a councillor who can attend or two and join us for that event. So just to wrap up, thank you for this opportunity to provide our update, and again for your ongoing support. It's a pleasure to be able to work with you.
Thank you very much.
Thanks. Any questions?
Anybody have any questions?
Yeah, I have a couple of questions there. So, when you started your presentation, you said you're a society. So now that you are a society, you can work casinos and get funds from casinos. Have you made application for that as well?
We have not at this time. The applications, when they looked into it previously, were, I don't know if it was a different time, but it was a long period before you were accepted. And there was a decision that they didn't want to go that route. We haven't reopened that. The board hasn't talked about it, but it is something I can bring back to the board.
Well, I mean, if you're looking for funds, I mean, it's a good funding opportunity, and I would suggest that you look at that, being a society. Another thing with that being said, you have to do an audit of your tax and provide a financial report, one which I did not see here today. I might have missed it, but
you did not bring the financial report, no.
I think when we provide funds for your organization, a financial report would be telling us where the money's actually going, which in my view is important. Another thing that I looked at here, you have $163,000 to repair that riparian area. So what did that conclude of? And I understand there, and I see some of it, you're more of an educational outfit rather than boots on the ground now. So what did you do to repair that area for that money? Is it tree planting? And obviously you didn't take Traco in there to the banks. And do you work with environment?
Yes. Environment of protected areas is one of our key partners in this program. We have a WR, a Watershed Resiliency and Restoration Program grant to be able to support those. Part of those dollars came from the grant, part of them came from our core funding. and part came from the residents themselves that we worked with. There's an outline of the summary of the projects in our annual report. It included some tree planting. It included off-site watering systems. There were 6 producers that worked with us to install off-site watering systems. There was livestock fencing projects. That was quite an extensive project right on the Battle
So that
River.
means that your outfit paid for the fencing? for
Yep,
these
through our
farmers?
watershed resiliency grant. It was a shared contribution, so the producers put 25% of the funds into it, and we put in 75%.
As well as the watering system
Yep,
out
Yeah.
in the Battle River?
yep. Yep, and then we also did some tree planting, and we work with other groups to support that as well, like the Agroforestry Woodlot and Extension Society. And to support other on-the-ground projects, because, you know, we have only limited dollars to do boots-on-the-ground work. We are parts of other local regional committees like the Leduc Wetaskiwin Alice PAC. We sit on that. And we support other committees that way as well to help because they're doing the boots-on-the-ground work.
Is our grade 4 class on your list at all this year or shortly for education?
Yes.
Yeah.
So our teachers are, I'm not 100% sure if Wainwright is on the list right now. We've had fewer teachers sign up right now, and we're assuming that it is a bit to do with the looming teacher strike.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just had a question about the invasive species monitoring. So we have a station here out at the weigh scales.
Yeah.
If there is any potential contamination, are you alerted of it?
Well, I'm not sure that they're doing, do they do invasive species monitoring at that station?
Well, they do, I've heard, that's why I'm asking, because I've
Yeah,
heard
it's been
they've
there all
pulled
summer.
samples.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Highway 16 right up here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh. So are you working with environment on that?
No,
No, it's not.
no, this is a grant, this was a grant through the provincial government.
Yeah.
It's more a boat cleaning station, but they do,
Wonderful. So I'm not alerted, but that would be great, and I will find out how to be alerted,
Okay.
which would be great. Yeah, I know that there was, you know, we have had there was a task force established to support increased awareness about invasive species, and they did increase their funding. That was many years of encouragement from many of our local organizations, and so really glad to hear you're doing that. Thanks.
any
So-
other questions?
Yeah, no, I'm gonna keep going here for a little
Okay.
bit. So on your, I mean, we talked about education and we're talking about, I mean, that's what I like to see then. So since your organization, are you seeing results of your work? I mean, that's what gives you gratitude when you're done, you know, results of what. So you did this big riparian effort and put whatever.
Yep.
Do you do testing prior and testing after?
Yeah,
Underwater?
we'll actually look at riparian assessments on those. So we look at the status of the vegetation health, and we do the riparian assessment with cows and fish beforehand, and then we look at it again in 1 and 3 years.
And then, so you could answer my last, are you seeing results?
Do we see, well, we have, because it's such a multifaceted issue, right? Part of it is looking at water quality and quantity over time, and our current State of the Watershed report has older data, and that's why we're going in to do that new State of the Watershed report to find out what our water quality is currently.
Okay.
Does anybody have any other questions? No? Well, thank you very much for coming today, Catherine, and presenting. Appreciate it. You're welcome to stay for coffee. We're going to break for coffee now.
Okay, thanks.
Let's break for coffee.
What about Scott?
call the meeting back to order. And finance. So the accounts were attached to the package. Any questions or comments on the accounts? If not, can I get a motion to,
Are we gonna do recreation, or did we do that?
we did those two.
Why is the mowing and brushing there separately? Was that just missed?
No, there was a bit of a hiccup there, so we had to cancel the check and then reissue.
Oh, sorry, I just wondered why it was separate.
Yeah.
But I'll make a motion, we accept the accounts.
Okay, thanks, Robin. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. Financial statement,
Yep.
moved by Oscar. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. Reserves are there for information. And moving on to administration and taxation. So you have our monthly status report there. Any questions or anything you'd like to add, Kelly?
No.
No, everything's pretty straightforward there. Okay, that's for information. And then we have an RFD for village recycle agreements.
So this is an annual RFP that comes to council. It involves the 3 villages. 2 of the villages have the door-to-door, which would be Irma and Chauvin. So we pay 2/3 of those costs to assist them. And Edgerton has the bins located in for recycling, so for that we pay just half of the cost for Edgerton. So it works out to, in the financial implications, it's a 1-year term, $2,400 for the village of Irma, $2,400 for Chauvin, and $1,800 per year for Edgerton.
So that's the cost there, Kelly, from what I understand, is it, that's our cost, it's not 2/3 of that figure, it's
Yeah.
our cost.
Yes,
MD
those would
cost.
be our costs going. So
Okay.
the cost would be a little bit more based on whatever
Yeah,
the
that's
other
right.
third are, yeah.
Yeah, I get it.
Okay, does somebody want to make the motion?
Billy will,
But
we're
one thing
renewing
about
them?
it,
The date is
the
on.
date is wrong, yes.
Yeah, it must be for 26. yeah.
25 and then 26.
Yes.
October 1st, 25.
Okay, I'm sorry
as long
about
as
that.
that's not in the motion.
No, you
Yeah,
should
the
revise
date
it.
should be from the 25 August, or October 1st to 26. I apologize for that.
Just
Thank
so
you for that
it's-
catch.
Okay, Richard made the motion. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried?
Good job, Billy.
Good catch, Richard.
I was
Good catch.
reading stuff, eh?
Okay, we got a RFD for a appointment of access to information coordinator and privacy officer.
Okay, so currently we have a FOIP coordinator, which is our assistant municipal administrator, right here in our office. So that's been around ever since the FOIP legislation's been around. That's been a requirement. So with the change in legislations, there's now 2 acts coming from the province to replace FOIP. One is the Protection of Privacy Act, POPA, and Access to Information Act, which is ATIA. So the 2 positions, they want to separate these acts into 2 separate positions for coordinators and officers. So for the Privacy Act, there's the Access to Information Coordinator, and for the Access to yes, that's right, Access to Information, there's the Access to Information Coordinator, and for the Protection of Privacy Act, there's the Privacy Officer. So our Assistant Municipal Administrator has graciously agreed to retain those roles in his current capacity with the change in titles. So thanks to him for that, for volunteering. There's some various training that he will be going through, so thank you, Neil, for that. And also, in the motion, in addition to appointing that position to these other new positions, grant them all roles and responsibility listed in the attached Access to Information Act delegation table and Privacy Act delegation table. So if you scroll down past the RFD, you're going to see a number of tables that go in detail of parts of the Act which would be specific to the role of these 2 positions, the Privacy Officer and the Access to Information Coordinator.
There's no conflict in it being the same person for 2 positions? Like, should they be separate? If they're separating them, why are we letting the same person do the job?
They're separated in the act because it's two different acts, so they have
Okay.
two different titles, right? So just like FOIP coordinator, the FOIP coordinator looked over all of these things to begin with.
Yeah.
It's just that they made two separate acts, just to make a distinction of the information privacy part and the access to information part. I think there needed to be maybe some political pressure to have those distinct.
Oh, it says they can be the same person, I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
and it can be the same person.
Okay, weird.
Okay, any other questions or comments? If not, I'll call motion to go with option 1. Bill, thanks, Bill. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried.
Thanks, Neil.
Congratulations. Congratulations, Neil.
You got it.
You got it.
Is there a pay raise with that, or?
No.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm not sure why you did it then, but whatever.
You didn't get Bob's vote.
We'll talk about that at the end of the year.
Okay, our RMA member bulletins are there for your information. And protection of persons of property. RFD for purchase or rescue tender for the Edgerton fire area.
What?
What's that?
What? I
Make a
didn't,
motion, option 1.
whoa, we gotta have some discussion. What do you
Okay,
want?
Richard has a
at it.
motion.
Come on.
Huh? I didn't get to read mine. I didn't have internet.
Okay, if you want to read it, it's there. We'll give you a minute, Bill.
Yeah?
Rescue tender.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I just said I actually don't want to read it. I just want Billy to talk and tell me about it.
Oh, plus.
What are you doing, Bill?
We're buying a new rescue tender truck.
What's wrong with the old one?
Not adequate for what we want, what we need.
Okay.
It's outdated, Bill. There's actually, there was a tank and pump involved with it as well, so there's limited storage with it.
So there's no tanker pump
No,
on this
that's
new one?
just a-
No, this will just strictly
This
be
is just a cot and
Rescue.
first aid kit?
Yeah.
Oh,
And what are you gonna have in the new one, Bill?
There's a place there for a bed inside, all the first aid equipment and everything.
Well, if you can't move anybody, your fire department can't move anybody, can't load anybody until an ambulance is on site. I'm just asking why you'd want to spend $600,000 on such a elaborate vehicle.
Well, I can speak to that a little bit, Oscar. Initially, we
I was talking to Bill.
we actually put this out just for request for pricing just probably 2 years ago, and the cost was roughly around 800,000, 180,000 to 200,000 less. Now with the tariffs and what's coming out of COVID, that's the cost.
but then you didn't answer our Oscar's question.
In terms of,
Need. If you
You
can't lift
load
anybody or
anyway.
move
You
anybody.
can't load a patient anyway.
You can't load a patient anyway.
no, that's fine, but you also are still gonna transfer people. They're gonna be inside. I'm not the fire chief.
A first responder still needs equipment to do what they need to do.
All the rescue and medical supplies are gonna be inside, most of them will be inside heated. It's a good unit.
Well, no
How
doubt.
big a truck is this thing?
It's a Freightliner M2, business class M2.
You have no trade, nothing to get rid of?
Well, there is a trade there, but
Yeah.
I don't know what's gonna happen with that. Delivery on this is 18 months to 2 years.
And 85% of our calls are medical.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the problem.
But just because they're medical, Bill, doesn't mean that you can,
That's okay, Oscar.
okay.
Okay, Bill has a motion to, Richard. I don't wanna get those two confused, I don't think, in this motion, but Richard has a motion to go with option 1. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried.
Reserves for it, so.
Thanks, Bruce.
Okay, and moving on, we have a bylaw number 1718.
I'll just get Damien in for this.
Okay. Do you want me to start with the preamble?
Yeah.
Okay, bylaw 1718, a bylaw of the Municipal District of Wainwright number 61 in the province of Alberta for the purpose of authorizing the removal of one Texas gate across a municipal road. Okay. Any questions or comments? If not, I'll call for a motion for the first reading.
I will make it.
Thanks, Richard. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. Motion for the second reading. Thanks, Bruce. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried.
This is
Motion-
so they can put one on, or they
They're
can't?
taking one out.
Take it out.
Take them out?
Taking one out, yeah. Motion to proceed. Thanks, Bill. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. And third and final
Yep.
reading. Oscar, thank you. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. Okay, thank you.
You got two to remove then, Bruce?
What's that?
You have two to
I
remove?
have two that I'd love to get rid of, but I'd like to put one in somewhere else.
One
Can't-
at
You
a
can't
time.
now.
Well, no, these are.
That's
his.
with my,
This is
You
Richard.
can't neither.
I don't care.
Morning, Dana.
Good morning.
How are you today?
Good, how are you?
Good, thank you. Okay, we got Dana's Development Services report there. Any questions or comments on that?
Well, yeah.
Anything interesting?
Anything you want to add, Dana, or?
Well, I can say that we are 2 development permits away, sorry.
There it goes.
We're 2 development permits away from last year's total, which is 10 years over the year before. So it is a busier year, that's for sure.
Well, I mean, makes your day go faster.
Yep, it does indeed.
Okay, no other questions or comments. I'll ask somebody to make the motion to accept the report as presented. Thanks, Bruce. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. Okay, we have an RFD here for gravel pit activity expansion.
So this RFD is to supplement our previous applications. So there is already a motion and action underway in regards to expanding our McLean pit. So with that pit, it's adjacent to the Battle River, and we never really know what the province may require for supplemental information requests. The contractor can never account for that in their estimate because they don't know if there will be any supplemental information requests, and if so, to what extent they will be. So in order for us to respond to the province's supplemental information requests, we need an additional motion to provide funding to our contractor to proceed with the applications. So the most recent supplemental information request was in relation to drainage, and the province is asking for more detail in order to approve our expansion. So at this point, they have declined our request until we provide the information required. It's going to require some work on the part of our contractor.
Is there a price on that?
$9,000 at the bottom, plus tax.
Okay, plus taxes.
Plus tax.
Correct.
So the
Well-
gravel crusher has to do this.
No, this would be the
Would
contractor,
this be Rohide?
Bear North.
Okay.
Near North, yeah.
Engineering outfit.
Yep, consulting, yeah.
Okay. I will
What else
ask-
can we do, Dana?
So they have denied our request at this point, which would mean we could not expand. So we would have to reallocate some gravel within that pit. We're in a bit of a corner where we have no room to crush, so we weren't able to meet our crush commitment for last year and are looking forward to potentially doing a double crush next year to try to make up for last year's crush. There's no room to actually get in there with a crusher and do the work. So the expansion allows us to get that crusher in there, do a double crush, and be really intentful with where we place that gravel going forward.
And also
I just wondered.
meet our commitments for the
How
crush
can we
with the
pass
contract.
this expense to somebody
Can't relocate
that's
gravel.
requiring it rather than us? I don't know.
Sorry, what's that, Bruce?
We can't relocate the gravel we have that's in the way.
We definitely could. It would take a very long time. There's an abundance of gravel there. That's in the far northeast corner of our municipality, and it isn't one of the most in-demand areas. And it does lose its integrity and its quality every time it's reallocated as well. So it's not the best practice.
How far away from another pit are we?
The closest would be in the county of Vermilion, the Antelope Pit, I believe.
Because there is room to set up, what you're saying is there's no room to stockpile.
No.
We could haul that to the next other pit.
Yeah, that would be the next best option. Cost effectiveness, the expansion, as I understand it, would be a lot cheaper.
Yeah, we're looking at like
Not for $9,000.
potential of $9,000.
Not for
It doesn't mean it's gonna
$9,000,
be.
you couldn't move
You
it.
can't transfer.
No.
Yeah.
Anybody got a motion yet?
No, I'm looking for a
Okay,
motion.
I'll move, we'll go with option 1.
Okay. Thanks, Bob. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. Thanks very much, Dana.
That way we'll have our new crush standards in place.
Well, no, we've,
Sure.
we've signed a contract on that one, but yeah, going forward, we can definitely look at that. Approval of pay sheets.
Billy
Thanks, Bill.
always does that one, you know that.
I'm just asking, I gotta put it out there. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. Committee reports, Wainwright Seed Cleaning Plant,
No meeting.
no meeting. Edgerton Seed Cleaning Plant,
No meeting.
FCS.
Robin was at it. No, she wasn't. Yeah, we had a meeting on August 20th. Robin was away again, and
Still,
Throw that out.
the Air Canada meeting.
director report, Carrie was in touch with Kelly about contracting for wheelchair accessibility. New housekeeper blitz, running, housekeepers are not staying there or something like that. And we had a performance review for Carrie, put in some paid for yoga at the Prairie Rose for the year, and that's about it.
Okay, thanks, Richard. Battle River Foundation,
We had our meeting last night. We approved attendance to the ASHA conference, October 8th and 9th. Upgrading our Wi-Fi system. We have some old equipment and now folks are pretty intent on using Wi-Fi, paying their bills, et cetera, so we're looking to upgrade that. And that's about it. Okay.
okay, thank you. Wainwright Landfill,
No meeting.
They're not done.
no meeting?
Can you go to a conference?
Yeah, you guys had your conference.
Oh,
How
yeah,
was
we
that?
had a conference there, sorry, yeah. Last Wednesday, Thursday, Friday at Westlock. It was pretty good, never went golfing. Just stayed at all the tours we had. Visited a dairy barn, which is very interesting. And a couple landfills.
You went, Billy?
I did go.
Okay, I just was
I took
wondering
my
in your
golf
comment
clubs.
there.
I took my golf clubs, but I
Oh,
didn't use them.
okay, okay.
Okay. East Central 9/11. No meeting? Okay. Community Health Foundation,
Well, I was just looking for my minutes, but I guess I'll have to wing it off the top of my head. I think everything's going fairly decent at the hospital. The only thing the foundation is doing right now is we proposed the sim lab. I met with 4 members of Alberta Health Services last week to go over a building that we have chosen to see if it's acceptable to them. I have not heard back. If it's acceptable to them, we'll hire a contractor and start the process of making the lab for the newly hired nurses here in our facility. I think other than that, I can't remember anything really good. Yeah, that's it.
okay, good.
The lab, well, that's another thing, where I want to put the lab. I mean, actually, I met with the town of Wainwright as well. I guess I should have mentioned that. Where we had put it was in the parking lot, Bruce, kind of in the center there, because there's a power station right there. But then when I went to the town of Wainwright to get the development permit, they wondered if we could locate it closer to the emergency door. That way they have their access to their gas line, and there is no gas to this, so they said they would pipe gas in free of charge to the building if we located it over by the emergency. So we looked at it. I mean, I think it's feasible. AHS hasn't got back to me yet with if it is feasible, but I'm pretty sure it is. I don't see a problem with it, but yeah,
Okay.
that's about it. I don't have anything else.
Okay, thanks, Bill. Northern Lights Library System.
Northern Lights had a zone meeting via Zoom the day we were in Lac-La-Biche. So we haven't got the minutes from that yet, but it was just a housekeeping board meeting, basically.
Okay,
Nothing really to report there.
Wainwright Economic Development Board.
No meeting till this month.
Okay,
Need a motion to accept reports, right?
yeah. Motion to accept the committee reports.
Yep.
Thanks, Bruce. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. Motion to go into closed
Billy.
session. Thanks, Bill. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. Phase 3 environmental site assessment. Oh, sorry, Oscar. All those in favor?
I said I would.
I thought I heard him say yep, so I apologize. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. Okay, so we need a motion to go with option 1, retain one of the contractors listed, and we will be going with Day Enterprise. Oscar makes that motion. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. And we need one more. Thanks, Bruce. Bruce makes a motion to adjourn. Thank you.